Good morning, my people. If somebody were to ask you personally your opinion of things and they asked you, what do you think about the condition of the world currently? I'm sure a lot of you would say that things are difficult. It's getting tougher and tougher to try to provide for yourself and your family. And a lot of people would describe times as being critical. And I would agree. I really would. Times are more difficult than I've seen them lately. And so the natural response to difficult times is for some individuals to buckle down, maybe simplify their lives, do whatever they possibly can do to try to offset the difficulties, right? Now, this morning, the Behind the Pen episode, this morning, we're going to be discussing the alternative to that particular notion. You see, instead of trying to simplify their lives, instead of trying to do things in a way that would allow them to alleviate some of the stresses and the strains that's associated with the difficult time that we live in, some people choose to take all of the frustration and the difficulty and the anger that they have and pour it out on the people around them. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm sure that you saw the two Rhyme and Reason episodes that I did, one for Sunday for the reset, and then, of course, one yesterday. And both highlight the need to be aware or to beware of danger. Because in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because of the difficulties that we experience nowadays, danger is a very real threat. So what do I mean? Well, of course, one of my promises that I've made is that I always would make clean content that anyone can watch. So I dare not get into anything political, but I do push practical, logical thinking. And so in response to some of the things that I've seen on the news or some of the things that I've heard personally, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to suggest this strongly, I'm going to suggest that everyone within earshot of this podcast starts to become more cautious. Become more cautious. In one particular instance, I was out and about, man, I had come home from college. And of course, my dad usually is responsible for giving me a tank of gas before I go back, right? So that was our custom was. He'd give me some money and I'd go get a full tank of gas after having packed up everything, and then I'd go on back to school, right? So this particular weekend, I was about to leave. It was on a Sunday. And so dad gave me the money and I went to a gas station. Now this gas station wasn't, it wasn't special. It was just like any other gas station. You pull up and go in and pay, or pay at the pump. I noticed that when I pulled into this gas station and I went in and paid for the gas, I noticed that my dad passed by. I saw him on the highway, right? And he saw me. And when he saw me, he immediately turned around and came back to that particular gas station. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is it something I forgot? Maybe something dad wants to give me that he had forgotten to give me. And when he got closer, I could notice from his facial expression that he was kind of flustered. He was kind of upset. And so, of course, now I'm looking to see what his direction is going to be. So he asked me, how much have you pumped? And I had pumped probably about $1 and maybe $1.15, 25 cents. It wasn't much. He said, okay, stop now, go in and get the rest of your money. Tell the man you want a refund. And so as you can imagine, I'm kind of confused as to, what's going on. But that's my dad, so I said, okay, all right. So I'll go in and do exactly what he tells me to do. And when I come out of the store, he said, son, listen, we don't shop here. We don't shop here. I said, well, what's the issue, Dad? Evidently, there had been, some difficulties between this store owner and my father. And evidently, from what my dad said, he was racially charged. And so one of the things that I wasn't aware of is that they had those difficulties. Now, of course, my temperament was a lot different from my dad's at the time, and it still is. Some things I'm like him about, and other things I'm not. But what I want to highlight is not the difficulty, but the response. The response that my father had. See, his response was geared toward not allowing me to have the same exchange with this gentleman that he had. Whether it was racially charged, whether it was about ethnicity, whether it was about status in life, regardless, my father did not want me to have the same difficulties with this gentleman that he had. And so the piece that I did about before trouble finds you, that's the basis of that particular piece. The wisdom that's imparted there. Every situation doesn't require your presence. And I'm saying that especially to the young men. Every situation does not require your presence. And if upon arriving you sense that things are not as they should be, you have every license to remove yourself from that situation. Go. Get out of there. I don't care what kind of names you're called. I don't care if people look at you as a coward. I don't care. I don't care if people call you scary. It's about your life. And it's about being cautious. It's about taking every precaution that you possibly can to preserve yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's the wise course to take. And then especially if you're aware that this is a situation, this is a place, a location where you're not wanted. If you're not wanted in that situation, if this is a place where maybe your particular ethnicity is not welcome, then it doesn't do anything. It doesn't take away from you not to put yourself in that situation. Don't go there. Don't go. My dad used to say all the time, go to places where people want to see you. Go where you're accepted and appreciated. And if you're not accepted or appreciated in a particular area or situation, it's always best to remove yourself. Because what'll happen is the difficulties will they'll come to a point where it's unbearable. And now you find yourself in a more difficult situation because you didn't take the initiative to leave when you had the opportunity to leave. And we're not pointing the finger at anybody. We're just giving good, intentional, logical advice. I'm 43 years old. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. And I think that because of the experiences that I've had, I'm more than qualified to give this kind of encouragement, this kind of advice. There's no one standard in the world that should require you to give up your peace, your safety, your life. If you're involved in a situation and you think that maybe this situation is going to result in difficulty for me, hear me when I tell you there's absolutely no reason why you should stay in that situation. If you can get out of it, if it means that you have to take your car keys, crank up your vehicle, and leave that location, then that's what it means. If it means that you're in the midst of a conversation with someone, and the conversation begins to be difficult to the point where violence is imminent, take your keys, get in your vehicle, and leave. If you're involved in a situation where it seems like there's someone around you that may be about to be in a position where violence is going to be enacted upon them, take your keys, get in your vehicle, and leave. There is never a reason to allow yourself to be in a situation that could be dangerous for you or your family. And that's a good point too to add, that if it's a situation that involves not just you, but family members, you have the license to remove them. You have the license to gather everybody up and say, look, we getting out of here. We're not safe here. This situation is starting to become more dangerous than I'm comfortable with. I'm getting you all out of here. And don't allow individuals around you to convince you otherwise. If you sense the danger, then act upon it. If you sense it, act upon it. Because many times individuals regret that after they felt that danger was incoming, they didn't leave, they didn't act quick enough. And things happened that left a lasting impact on not only them, but their family members. So that's one of our responsibilities as a man, especially. One of our key roles is to be a protector. And so when you sense danger, don't dismiss it. Don't dismiss it. Meet it with the necessary action. And so now the next part, the next episode that we did in Rhyme and Reason, centered around a young man who, as the story goes along, he seems to be just living life. No particular direction, no particular purpose, just living life. We're introduced to him. He's working. And as he's working, he gets off at the end of the week, and he's beginning to plan the things that he'll do. He gets himself together. He gets prepared. He has on a brand new outfit. He has a nice haircut. He's shaved. And so he is on the prowl, if I could use that term, right? He's looking for female companionship. And that's all, only companionship. And so he goes to a nearby club and he catches eyes with a beautiful young lady, and they begin to talk. And in the midst of their conversation, she expresses herself as to what she would like for the future. And sad to say, the young man is only there to take advantage of this young lady. And he does what it takes to put himself in the position to take advantage of her. But now the story has another layer to it. Well, toward the end of the story, we find out that not only is he taking advantage of the emotions and the feelings of the young ladies that he's involved in, he's also putting their health in jeopardy. Now, I didn't specify what the diagnosis was in the story, so feel free to insert whatever diagnosis you want. But regardless of what diagnosis it is, the man had 6 months to live. 5 of them have expired. He's engaging with as many young ladies as he possibly can before he loses his life. And I know that it's a grim story to tell. And I know that a lot of the details of the story probably hit home with some people. And some people may have experienced just this kind of story. But I use this story to also illustrate the fact that as individuals, we have to be cautious. We have to be cautious. We can't let our emotions push us in the direction that is not logical, that's not careful, that's not planned out, that's not intentional. Because in the end, if that's the case, then the results of whatever decision you make could be disastrous for you. It could be a situation where you don't know who you're getting involved with. You don't know their background. You don't know who they really are. And so you put yourself in a position where they can cause the greatest harm to you. And see, he wasn't forthright with that information with the young lady that he was dealing with. And that's the reason why I say you have to be cautious. You have to be aware that there is danger there. Just because something looks good on the outside doesn't mean that it's good for you, right? And that's an old saying that proves true. It proves true because people will put up a facade. They'll paint a picture of themselves to you that's absolutely incorrect. They'll make you believe that they're one kind of way, and in actuality, they're a totally different person. So you have to be careful. You have to see danger and respond accordingly. If you don't take anything away from this podcast today, whoever's listening, whoever's in earshot, see the danger and respond accordingly. Don't just see the danger and then go along as if you didn't, because you're going to pay the penalty for it. You're going to pay the price. And see, that young lady who was involved with the young man, she's going to pay the penalty for it. Because whatever he has, she now has it. Whatever diagnosis he was diagnosed with, she now has it. Whatever difficulties result from his diagnosis, now she has to bear the burden of those same difficulties. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And in a lot of ways, that particular piece illustrated the need to trust but verify. In so many situations, that's what we fail to do. We trust because the outside looks inviting, but we don't verify. We don't go any deeper than how a situation looks on the outside. And you'll never truly be able to understand a situation until you go further than surface level. And then going further than surface level, you get a full understanding of what you're involved in. Then you can make a better decision. You can make a good decision then. So I hope that you enjoyed those two pieces, man. I'm going to look at starting a 24/7 stream. Man, I went back and looked and I had like 400 videos. I was like, wow, okay. So that 24/7 stream is incoming, man. We're going to work on it. We're going to attempt to do some maybe 8-hour streams first. And then we're going to enact the 24/7 streams, okay? That's a goal for this year, to get that down. But as always, man, you know I'm pulling in now to go and earn a living. I want you all to be careful, be intentional, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what individuals are doing around you, and respond accordingly, please. We're in dangerous times, in unprecedented times. And the way that we respond to those times is not by allowing the difficulties that we experience, the pressure that we experience, the negativity that we experience to overwhelm us, but it's by taking those feelings and reinforcing the fact within ourselves that we're capable of handling these situations, and that in the end, the situations are going to turn out well if we do what's necessary. And part of what's necessary is being cautious, being careful, and being aware of your surroundings, and removing yourself, if at all possible, from any danger that surrounds you. I'm going to start preaching now. Well, you know that I love you. And I hope the week works out well for you. I hope today you're able to meet all your goals. Matter of fact, the whole week. You know I love you, man. Be easy. Peace.